Good afternoon. Today is February 29th, 2020, and it is a leap day. And I want to finish up my series on the natal north node in the houses. So this is the last one, and we are talking about if you were born with your north node in the 12th house. If you were born with the north node in the 12th house, then you have the south node in the 6th house. So the 12th house is a place of darkness. It is the place of the subconscious mind and the conscious collective. It is the house that is traditionally ruled by Jupiter, who rules Pisces. He's the ancient ruler. The modern ruler is Neptune. So this, of course, is a water house. And it is a place, the 12th house is a place that is not fully understood by most. It is a place that we don't fully understand most of the time because it is hidden. It is the house of hidden enemies, the house of hidden fears, perhaps hidden blockages, things that would stop us from moving forward, things that during childhood were programmed into our minds. As it is said, the first 7 years we are sponges to the information that is being given to us. We are just being programmed, sitting silently, watching everything, listening to everything, and from there we make our movements. So oftentimes, if we experience trauma as young children, we will continue those patterns and continue to draw in those same types of energies into our lives. And this is associated with the 12th house, the subconscious mind. It is a place, again, of hidden things, private things. So when we have the north node coming into the 12th house, then it is the soul's journey, because again, the north node shows what is the soul's purpose. What is the purpose? Why did I come into this particular incarnation? So it is a spiritual house as well. It is tapped into the divine. It is tapped into those moments of meditation and those moments of quiet thought. So the north node here is the highest purpose of your soul. Your greatest work is to work with the subconscious. Your greatest work, your greatest activity is to move into a place of mastery as it relates to spiritual things, as it relates to meditation and working with the elements and working with spirit for yourself, and then ultimately it will help society, actually, because Pisces is about the collective. The 12th house is about the collective energies. So as we have learned, we are all interconnected. When one person makes a change, that energy affects the greater whole. We are independent, but we are interdependent. So the ways that we move affects the next person, and that affects the next person. And the way that we are thinking on the earth, it affects the collective. So when the north node is in the 12th house, it is key. It is the greatest work to change the mindset, change the subconscious programming, that could have been negative, that could have been um, causing you to come into a place of stuckness where you aren't able to really move forward. Do the work, do the healing work, visit with the shamans, um, do the journeying, do the work, working with the elements to go deep, whether it is working with someone to help with hypnosis. I've heard people talk about this as it relates to the eighth house, do the psycho analytic work, but it's also 12th house because the subconscious mind is also tied to the spirit realm because it's all in the darkness. It's in the place that we cannot see. It is spirit work. But not only that, so on a practical sense, the 12th house would have you working maybe in an asylum, in a place where people are confined. And in that being a place of strength to them, if you should find yourself in the hidden places, in the hospitals, in the jails, in the prisons, it is about working with spirit in such a way that those who are in there would be able to find strength and solace and help from you. The sixth house is a place where the south node would be. So the south node again is a place that you've already mastered what you were doing in that area. So the south node here would show that you were a person who the work that you did before was all about helping people in the outward. You know, sixth house is traditionally ruled by Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. So the sixth house is daily routines and daily activities and, you know, being the nurse necessarily, or, you know, working with people in their health and nutrition. The 12th house is a house of service as well, but it's spiritual service. It's a service that would speak words that would strengthen someone, strengthen their psyche, strengthen their spirit, motivate them to fight on, you know? Whereas sixth house is more working with the physical body. The 12th house is more so working with the spiritual body, the connection with spirit, the soul. So if you have the 12th house in the sign of Taurus, you would have the 6th house in the sign of Scorpio. So if you have the North Node in the 12th house in the sign of Taurus, that spiritual work could be about building self-esteem and building finances and building wealth and working in such a way that the food that is being produced is something that works and coincides with the spirit. You know, this may be veganism, you know, with an understanding that the animals have souls. And I'm not a vegan, but I'm just giving you an example that this is how a person could see the world or could come into their highest purpose if they have the North Node in the sign of Taurus in the 12th house. That, you know, understanding that food and the animals, they have spirit too. They have souls too. And pushing for, you know, eating the vegan lifestyle or the vegetarian lifestyle in an effort to honor the spirit of the animals. This is how could show up. It could also show up in again, tying to spirit. And because Taurus is a very earthy, practical sign. So you have this very spiritual, ethereal house and this very earthy sign coming here. It is tying into Mother Earth, appreciating the spirit of the earth, appreciating the spirit of the herbs and the trees and the spirit of these things that are here on the earthly realm, and reconciling the two and being able to use the two, being able to use a spiritual understanding to manifest practical things, practical wealth, tapping into the spirit realm to be able to manifest using affirmations, using the craft, using again, the elements to be able to manifest tangible things of security that are tied to Taurus. And it is here that you would feel, your highest self coming alive and feeling that purpose is being fulfilled. Now, if the North Node again is in Taurus and the 12th, then the South Node in Scorpio, then it would have been that you would be used to using, the scorpionic ways, perhaps, in working with people. And Scorpio, on its lowest side, is about manipulation, is about dealing with the dark, dealing with pain. So you may, in the 6th house, Scorpio, with the South Node there, may be accustomed to just trauma with other people. Trauma, dealing with people being physically hurt, mentally hurt, psychologically hurt, them coming around you. This is something that you could see often, and it's just a routine way of life. Well, moving away from that is this sense of peace that's tied to Taurus, because Taurus just wants peace and finds peace in those quiet places. So this would, moving towards the North Node, again, would move you away from all of that drama, trauma, people being physically hurt and so forth, and moving into this place of peace and tapping into the earth and, working with spirit in that way. And the earth spirits, that come through the plants, come through the herbs, come through the animals, with a greater appreciation. Okay. So that's all that I wanted to share with the North Node in the 12th house. And I'm going to move on to the next topic. And I thank you so much for listening, and blessed be.